Let's take you to this matter. The National Taxi Alliance wants the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy to review the high fuel levies. Just last week, commuters were faced with taxi fare increases of between 25 and 30% because of the persistent fuel price hike. Motorists in inland provinces are now paying 26 Rand 70 cents for a litre of 95 octane petrol, while diesel is at 27.33 cents a litre. Joining us now to give us a sense of why there's a need to review fuel levies is Theo, spokesperson for the National Taxi Alliance. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. Talk to us about what has prompted you to pen this letter.
Good evening, and thanks for having me. The reason for us to pen this letter was to give dialogue and opportunity in that, we're finding it very difficult to operate as a business because of these current fuel prices. So there is basically the rationale behind penning this proposition to government. But to further expand on this, it's, as a result of taxi operators beginning to lose their vehicles by virtue of not being able to meet their monthly financial obligations. And this also has a direct threat to plus minus 400,000 employment opportunities should this situation not be, arrested. So that is basically, the situation we find ourselves in and the rationale behind our penning of that letter to the Minister of Minerals and Energy, and we've also copied same to the Minister of Transport, Mr. Fikile Mbalula.
So within the letter, there are proposals that you've fleshed out. Talk to us about some of those proposals and the sort of response you're hoping to get, or perhaps the start of a conversation.
Well, the proposition is centered around the review of the levies attached to fuel and the taxes as well. If those can be addressed, we will really feel that the fuel price will go down and we should be able to escape through. We do understand, though, that there are geopolitics at play, but we also want government to also come in and assist because this situation is rather unbearable. And we still are awaiting for a response from government. We've given them this undertaking a couple of weeks ago, and they haven't responded as yet. We wonder as to whether they will respond or they've taken the ostrich approach and buried their heads in the sand like they would always do.
What would happen if they don't respond?
Well, I cannot preempt as to what is this that will happen. But what I do know for certain is that as an organization, we'll have to actually talk to like-minded organizations and try and find a way of working together in ensuring that the government, feels the pressure.
So in ensuring that government feels the pressure, I mean, last month we know that there was a lot of circulation on social media and SMSs and WhatsApps being sent to people about a national shutdown. And of course, I know your association dismissed those suggestions, saying that you're not behind it. But as you speak to what you're saying, is there a possibility that you could be thinking of a national shutdown should this fall on deaf ears?
Well, there is a host of possibilities for which I cannot preempt, as I said earlier on. It would be the NTA's collective that would actually make this call, and only then will I be in a position to articulate in fairness.
So the increase of fares has ranged from 25% to 30%. Talk to us about the different increases on taxi fares and how now the consumer is at a disadvantage.
Well, unfortunately, the passengers are at the disadvantage, but because we are a business, there needed to be something drastic that has been undertaken for us not to go under and to be able to afford our monthly financial obligations. So we were just not going to skate through without adjusting these tariffs. Yes, there will be increase between 25 and 30%, and this is being cascaded further down to associations, and it is the associations themselves who are the custodians of the material conditions on the ground, who would actually say as to how much they feel their increase should be affected by, but it should be within 25 and 30%. So basically, the short distance transporters may look into 25%, whilst the long distance operators, the furthest or rather travelers, would look into a 30%.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time. National Taxi Alliance spokesperson Theo Malele there, speaking to the National Taxi Alliance wanting to have a meeting with the Minister Gweda Mantashe, as well as Fikile Mbalula, of course, saying that they've written to the ministers and hoping to get a response.